Hey there everyone, it's Alex here from VG247.com, and I'm here with a little bit of Yakuza Like a Dragon, which of course is the latest entry in the Sega series, but it's quite different. See, if I was just talking about any other Yakuza game, I'd say it's the latest entry in the sort of action-adventure series, but this is a fully fledged, turn-based role-playing game. Think the Final Fantasy games, the earlier ones, think Persona. That is how this game is structured, but it's still set, obviously, in the real world, but with some really crazy, over-the-top twists. So as you can see, it's got turn-based combat, it has, weapons that characters equip, it's got gear that characters equip, characters level up and grow, they've got various stats. And yeah, it's really, really absurd and really, really fun. There's something, I think, that's just cool about the idea of these semi-realistic, let's say, they're not exactly fully realistic, but these semi-realistic fist fights and fights with various weapons that are to hand taking place in this turn-based setting. And so you can imagine, for instance, how things like magic and summons and all these traditional turn-based RPG tropes, especially Japanese RPG turn-based tropes, you can imagine how they fold into the Yakuza setting. So it's sort of like fire magic. There's a guy on my team in this footage who's got fire magic, and his fire magic is essentially him drinking a load of alcohol and then spitting it out with his lighter in front of his face so the flames go out from the alcohol content. It's just dumb, and I love it. It's actually a bit of a clean break as well, it's worth noting. So it's got a new protagonist, it's sort of a new story. I don't know how, when you get deeper into the game, what might happen. Maybe it will sort of loop back around to some of the threads from the previous games, but it is sort of, that's why it doesn't have a number on it in the West. It did have a number in Japan, but in the West they haven't put a number on it because it is sort of a clean break with new characters. You can just hop into this and be comfortable, and that's important, I think. You're out in an open world and there's a hell of a lot to do. It's the city of Yokohama, and there's, lots of mini-games to partake in. In fact, there's so many mini-games to partake in. There's things like golf, there's a movie theatre where you watch a film and there's sort of a rhythm game tied to that. There's darts, there's pachinko, there's slot machines. You can straight up go to an arcade and play some classic Sega arcade games. There's a hell of a lot to do in terms of mini-game activities, and the mini-games are just really there for fun. Then you've actually got side quests, which are known in the Yakuza series as sub-stories. There's part-time hero work, which is basically someone emails this website and says, I'm in trouble, I've got loan sharks after me, I need a part-time hero, and you can be the part-time hero that goes in and beats up the loan sharks. And then of course there's a main story, and that is, a full story of these characters. It's voiced most of the time, but just like Yakuza previous games, there are some elements that are just text. I will say this is actually a localized one, so this hasn't happened in the core Yakuza series for quite a long time. Judgment, obviously recently, that had a localized Western voiceover. This actually has that as well, first time in a long time for this series, like I say, but it does also come with Japanese voices. You can adjust that anytime in the settings, so that's up to you, right? In battle, there's a job system, so characters can sort of change between different roles, and that will determine their moveset, that will determine potentially what weapons they use, stuff like that. Very much traditional Japanese RPG stuff. There's equipment that you can get, and you're obviously upgrading and changing your equipment all the time. There's money to manage. All that sort of stuff is there. There's also interesting things like you can actually build relationships with your party members. So everything you do, be that help each other in battle, or things like you can go to place on the map. So if you go to a restaurant, and there's plenty of restaurants around the Yokohama area, all with different kinds and different effects, you can have a meal, or just have a beer in a pub. And basically that not only will have benefits in terms of meals and beer and things like that, will restore your health and your MP. I don't know, I wonder what MP stands for in this game, because obviously usually it stands for magic points, but the moves they're using technically aren't magic. I wonder. Anyway, yeah, restaurants can restore HP or MP, but you can also actually get benefits for the relationship between characters by eating together or by doing things together. So it's like golf is a solitary activity when you go and play the golf minigame. But if you want to go and play darts, you can choose to play that alone, or you can play that against a party member, and playing it against a party member will sort of enhance your relationship. In many ways, it feels a bit like this game is taking a lot of cues from what another element of Sega, what Atlas does in the Persona series. It feels like they've looked a lot at that. It feels like they've looked a lot at classic Final Fantasy. It's clear that they wanted to have a change after making so many Yakuza games of the same sort of formula. And what you get is this really weird and interesting mashup of turn-based RPG and the action-adventure games that Yakuza was. So if you enjoyed the humour and the pacing and the writing and the way the characters are and all that sort of stuff in these games, all that is still present. But what you do have is a role-playing game battle system, a role-playing game character progression system, and so on and so forth. All that stuff is exactly as you would expect for that genre, and I think it's really, really cool. It seems a little bit self-aware about it, and that's where I say the persona thing comes in a little bit. You know, when you level up, characters acknowledge that. They say, "I've leveled up," or they say, "Sweet, my stats went up," which obviously doesn't really make sense in this realistic-looking universe, and yet at the same time, it sort of makes perfect sense with the absurdist tone they're going for. I really, really like it. Like, I've always liked this series, but I went into this like, oh, it'll be fun, it'll be something I enjoy, it'll be something I get a good time with. And after this hands-on, where I just played a bunch of the 5th chapter of the game, basically, I was suddenly like, oh my god, this is probably a contender for one of my games of the year, which is a great feeling to have, for that to come out of nowhere. So yeah, that is Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's out on November the 10th. It's an Xbox Series X launch title, but it's also coming to the classic Xbox One. It's coming to the PlayStation 4, and then it will come to the PlayStation 5 in a few months' time. The next generation for now, it is Xbox exclusive. Unless the PlayStation 4 version ends up working on PS5 by backwards compatibility, and we don't know about that yet. But yeah, it's out very soon. I think it'll be an ideal game for starting out on the Xbox Series X if you're looking for games to play at launch. It's not necessarily the most visually impressive or whatever, but it's just got a lot of charm, and I think the city actually is the star of the show in that sense. There's some lovely lighting, it just looks really nice, and if you've been to Japan and just walked around cities like Yokohama, areas like Yokohama, you'll definitely feel that weird sense of deja vu I did, and especially with the lockdown and the fact that we didn't get to do Tokyo Game Show this year, playing this game made me really, you know, not homesick, because Japan isn't my home, but whatever the word is for homesick when you don't actually live there, when it's just somewhere that you occasionally visit. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'll let some footage play out so you can just enjoy some battles and stuff like that, but I'm really excited to play the final thing. Don't forget to give us a like, give us a subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff helps, and you'll be the first to see more upcoming videos, including more next-gen games. Until next time, everyone, see ya.
Take your best shot. Let's go. I'm not backing down. You're gonna be in the world. Fun with this. I got this. Here we go. Weak. Get alive. You're gonna get stomped. Come on now. Shot. Let's go. You're in it now. Get serious. I'm not backing down. Don't get ya. Watch this. You're gonna get stomped. Cool. Get alive. Let's do it. Right. Take your best shot. Try this on the side. I'm up. Let's see. Going in. You're in it now.
何かご用を見せて
Stand a chance. Okay.
You're gonna get stomped.
You're in it now. Take your best shot at the hookah. Watch this.
I'm not
I got
backing
this.
down.
Cool. Let's do it. Check this out.
Right.
Next time. Time to clean up!
I'm ready. Here we go.
Alive!
Check this out.
I got this! Yeah!
You're gonna be in a world of hurt.
That's how you do it! Not a loser!
Here we go.
Let's go! Huh?
Check this out.
Cool! Wanna fight? Take your best shot! Brace yourself! Okay. I got this!
You're gonna be in a world of hurt.
Have fun with this! You're in it now!
Let's see.
Get serious. Let's go!
Huh?
Wanna fight? Let's go!
I'm not backing down. Right.
Take your best shot! You're weak!
You're gonna get stomped.
Come on! Let's go! You're done now! That's it!
Don't waste my time.
Cool.
I'm not that.
Yeah.
Right.
You wanna go? Good luck next time. So itchy. This could get rough. Come on! Yeah! Take your
You're gonna be in a
best
world
shot.
of hurt.
Come on now! Do it. Okay. Have fun with this.
Here we go.
I'm up!
Let's see.
Let's go! Yeah. Don't get cocky. Watch this. Have fun with this. The enemy is defeated. With finesse. Stand a chance.